Hello everyone, welcome to class series, and in this video we're gonna be discussing our question answers of the chapter The Story of Human Evolution. So let's move on to our comprehension first part, which is our 1 markers. In that our first question is, from which language is the term human derived? The answer of this question is, the term human is derived from the Latin word humanus, Humanus. Our second question is, what is the meaning of the term homo? The answer for this question is, homo is a Latin word meaning man. In bracket you can write inclusive of woman. Its adjective form is humanus, Humanus. Our third question is, when did the earth originate? The answer for this question is, earth was formed at least 4.5 billion years ago. Our fourth question is, which was the book written by Charles Darwin? The answer of this question is, the book Origin of Species was written by Charles Darwin. Our fifth question is, when did human-like beings evolve on Earth? The answer for this question is, about 5.6 million years ago, the emergence of genus Homo brought human-like beings on Earth. Our sixth question is, how many years were required to genus Homo to evolve from the superfamily Hominoidea? The answer for this question is, it took 30 million years for genus Homo to evolve from the superfamily Hominoidea. Our seventh question is, when did genus Homo come into existence? The answer for this question is, 5.6 million years ago, genus Homo came into existence. Our eighth question is, which human species was the first to manufacture stone tools? The answer for this question is, Homo habilis were the first to manufacture and use stone tools. Our ninth question is, what is bipedalism? The answer for this question is, bipedalism means walking or running on 2 feet. So let's move on to our comprehension second part, which is our second main. Basically it is 2 marker questions. In that our first question is, mention any 2 theories of origin and evolution of Earth. In the answer part you will write, the 2 theories of origin and evolution of Earth are, first one, the pulsating theory, the second one, the Big Bang theory. Our second question is, which were the 2 important factors responsible for the formation of Earth's weather and climate? The answer for this question is, the 2 important factors responsible for the formation of Earth's weather and climate are, number 1, the Earth's tilt, TILT tilt, second one, the formation of moon. Our third question is, which were the 2 chemicals responsible for the origin of life? The answer for this question is, hydrogen and carbon, which were present in the atmosphere, were responsible for the origin of life. Our fourth question is, which were the 2 theories proposed by Charles Darwin? The answer for this question is, the 2 theories which were proposed by Charles Darwin are, number 1, the theory of natural selection, number 2, survival of the fittest theory. Our fifth question is, which 2 animals are considered as the nearest relatives of a man? The answer for this question is, chimpanzees and bonobos are the closest relatives of the human beings. Our sixth question is, where do we find evidences for the earliest planned hunting and butchery of large animals? The answer for this question is, the earliest evidence of planned hunting and butchery of large animals are found at 2 sites. Number 1, Box Grove in England is dated to about 5 lakh years ago. Number 2, Skoningen in Germany is dated to about 4 lakh years ago. Let's move on to our third main, which is our 5 marker questions. In that our first question is, how was the Earth's crust formed? The answer for this question is, the Earth remained in the molten state for many million years and then began to cool. The volcanic activity got reduced considerably. The gradual cooling of the earth made the outer side to become solid rock, which is called Earth's crust. Further cooling made the Earth's crust to contract, resulting in the formation of mountains and valleys. They are like folds and wrinkles appearing on an apple which is left to dry for a few days. The gases released by volcanoes' primordial atmosphere. The crust was still hot and water was in the form of steam. Further cooling condensed the steam to form clouds and then rains began to pour in torrents. This continuous downpour formed lakes, rivers, oceans and seas. The rains and winds eroded the valleys and mountains. The erosion formed rocks to break and form tiny particles of sand and mud. The continuous erosion formed soil and the ocean floor. Our second question is, how was food and shelter responsible for human evolution? The answer for this question is hominoid lived on trees. The trees provided them protection from the predators. The hominoids were food gatherers. They produced food by gathering seeds, nuts, fruits, berries, tubers, etc. They were not meat eaters. Hominoids adapted to land dwelling. They began to use caves and extended stone boulders as shelters. These shelters on land provided them with considerable safety from the predators and from rain, wind, and the sun. The Neanderthal man was the earliest cave dweller. The shortage of food made them to scavenge for food. They covered long distances to forage or scavenge for naturally dead animals or leftover of animals killed by predators. The above activities made them gradually develop an upright posture and consequently the bipedal motion. This was required for survival. Hominids and the archaic human species added plant hunting and fishing to their already existing gathering, foraging and scavenging techniques. Plant hunting and making tools stimulated the growth in the brain size. The growth in brain size in turn helped them to plan and make better tools. Our third question is, what was the role of domestication of animals and agriculture in human evolution? The answer for this question is domestication of animals was followed by commencement of agriculture. Humans who were food gatherers and hunters till then now became food growers or food producers. They were prepared to overcome the effects of climate changes like the Ice Age by adapting to the domestication of animals and agriculture. Dogs are believed to be the first animals to be domesticated as they were continuously hanging around the hunters' camps to pick up bones and scraps of meat. They developed a bond and dogs were domesticated. This was followed by sheep, goat, cow, cat, camel, and horse. Dogs helped humans in hunting and guarding their shelters. The rearing of animals made humans nomads. Commencement of agriculture is considered as a revolutionary change in the history of human evolution. This was an important aspect of Neolithic age. Humans began to grow various crops like wheat, rice, millets, etc. The practice of agriculture is not more than 13,000 years old. It made them lead a settled life. This resulted in the formation of human settlements termed villages and later towns. Villages and towns were the foundations of civilization. Our fourth question is, what role did bipedalism and stone tools play in the human evolution? The answer for this question is, the hominoids were quadrupeds. They walked on all four limbs, but their forelimbs were flexible. The hominoids gradually adopted an upright posture. Hominids further adapted to bipedalism. The skeletal structure and the muscles also adjusted over a period of time to the upright posture and the bipedal motion which freed the forelimbs. The forelimbs developed precision grip and power grip and evolved into hands. This greatly helped in hunting and defending from predators as hands could be used to make tools and also use them. Walking on two legs also provided a greater long distance vision and helped them to cover long distances without spending much energy. The use of tools is not confined to only humans. For example, some monkeys and apes use stones as tools to break nuts, but use of tools by humans is far more advanced compared to the monkeys and apes. Wood, bones, and stones were used to make tools. They were mainly used for hunting or defending from predators. The use of stone tools is studied as the Stone Age in history. The making and use of stone tools were responsible to the evolution of forelimbs into hands and also the growth in brain size. The oldest known stone tools are the Oldowan stone tools from Ethiopia which are dated to a period 2.6 million years ago. The skill and advancement in the making stone tools have made historians to classify the Stone Age as Paleolithic, Mesolithic and Neolithic Stone Ages. In the course of time, humans began to produce metals from ores and make coppers, bronze and iron tools which are studied in history as the respective metal ages. The Australopithecus species is said to have first used the naturally available stone as tools, but the making of stone tools from naturally available stones and using them is positively identified to have begun with Homo habilis. Our fifth question is discuss the place of origin of the modern man. The answer for this question is the place of origin of the humans or modern man is much debated issue. There are two divergent theories. Number 1, the replacement or African origin theory. Number 2, the regional continuity theory. Now we will write the explanation of both the theories. Number 1, the replacement or African origin theory. According to this theory, modern human species evolved from the Archaic species in Africa. Africa with its nurturing tropical climate consisting of strong wet and dry seasons provided an optimum environment for the emergence of the modern human species. Some of them migrated to different regions of the world at different points of time. They replaced the earlier human-like species in these regions. The discovery of the fossils of the early human species in Africa and the genetic and anatomical homogeneity among the modern humans in all the parts of the world are evidence for this theory. Number 2, the regional community theory. According to this theory, the evolution of different human species from the earlier species occurred in all regions of the world. It occurred in Europe and Asia. Also, it is occurred in Africa. The evolution proceeded at different rates in different regions. The dissimilarities among the human populations in different regions of the world serve as evidence to this theory. So these were our 5 markers. Let's move on to our last main of this chapter. The last main is basically your 10 marker questions, and in that we have only one question which is the last question of this chapter. And the question goes as discuss the important factors of human evolution. The answer for this question is the changing cycles of climate and weather have greatly affected the human evolution to a very large extent. The last 6 to 8 million years have generally seen cooling trends marked by recurring ice ages. The onset of the Ice Age around 2.5 million years ago covered most parts of the earth with snow, and there were major changes in climate and vegetation. The species which could adapt better to the climate changes and procure food survived, and the other became extinct. The Ice Age or Classical Age induced the early humans to wear animal skins to keep themselves warm. Many times new species originated which adapted better than the earlier ones. The early species, Australopithecus, faced gradual extinction and genus Homo early man, which was better adapted to drier conditions, survived. The last ice age witnessed by Earth was about 20,000 years ago. Today we are living in a time that is relatively warm compared to the last 6 to 8 million years. The weather and the climate of the Earth has played an important role in the origin, evolution and existence of various species. Human species evolved larger and complex brains to overcome the environmental changes and survive against physically powerful animals. The size of the brain in the Homo habilis was 600 cubic centimeters, which was only slightly larger than that of chimpanzees. The Homo erectus had a brain size of 800 to 1100 cubic centimeter. The Neanderthal 1200 to 1900 cubic centimeter, and the Homo sapiens, which is the wise man of today, about 1400 cubic centimeter. It is more than twice of the size of the brains of chimpanzees or gorillas. The growth in the brain size induced many activities like improved vision, upright posture, bipedalism, tool making, use of fire, plant and skill hunting, storing food and language. These activities helped in the development of the brain. Hominoids lived on trees, which provided them protection from the predators. The hominoids were food gatherers and not meat eaters. Then they adapted to land dwelling. They began to use caves and extended stone boulders as shelters. The Neanderthal man was the earliest cave dweller. The shortage of food made them to scavenge for food. The above activities made them gradually develop an upright posture and consequently the bipedal motion. This was required for survival. Hominids and the archaic human species added plant hunting and fishing to the already existing gathering, foraging and scavenging techniques. The earliest evidence of the plant hunting and butchery of large animals is traced at two sites. Number 1. Box Grove in England dated to about 5 lakh years ago. Number 2. Skoningen in Germany dated to about 4 lakh years ago. The hominoids were quadrupeds. They walked on all four limbs, but their forelimbs were flexible. The hominids gradually adapted an upright posture. Hominids further adapted to bipedalism. The skeleton structure and the muscles also adjusted over a period of time to the upright posture and the bipedal motion, which freed the forelimbs. The forelimbs developed precision grip and power grip and evolved into hands. This greatly helped in hunting and defending from predators, as hands could be used to make tools and also use them walking on two legs, also provided a greater long distance vision and helped them to cover long distances without spending much energy. The use of tools is not confined to only humans. For examples, some monkeys and apes use stones as to break nuts, but use of tools by human is far more advanced compared to the monkeys and apes. Wood, bones and stones were used to make tools. They were mainly used for hunting or defending from predators. The use of stone tools is studied as the Stone Age in history. The making and use of stone tools were responsible for the evolution of forelimbs into hands and also the growth in brain size, as plant hunting required cooperation and communication between the hunters. Signaling and creating sound evolved, which slowly developed into languages. The domestication of animals and the commencement of agriculture were other major factors in the human evolution.